Podcast on Esse.
Hello everybody, welcome to another amazing episode of the Gist on Glasses podcast. We're back again for another conversation to have great talks, and these conversations go smooth, and we love the way we have all of these conversations and then just talk about these general things. And today is not any different. We're going to be having a very I think, how do I put this now? But I feel like this is a talk that should be had, and this is something that we should talk about. And then we're going to be talking about something very interesting and very important also. But then before we go into the topic of today, I'd like to introduce to you guys some of the amazing people that we have in the studio today. We have my friend Joseph. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Hi guys, it's very nice to be here today.
Wow.
I've been looking forward to being on Gist on Glasses.
Dope. You look amazing, bro.
Thank you very
dope,
much.
by the way. Nice shoes, man. Probably after
Don't
after
flatter
this
me, bro.
episode, I'm going to go back home get fit.
You still have a hat that you owe me, bro.
I don't owe you nothing, man.
Okay.
And then the denim you wore last week. What's up about that denim?
You've still not given
You
me my
trick
hat.
my eye.
It's back to back.
Well, that's another talk for another day, another conversation. When we are done here, we'll go and
We'll settle it.
settle it there. And also, my friend from way back, Esse, what's up?
Hello.
Nice to have you here.
Nice to have you too.
The newest kid on the block, the two new kids on the block,
Who?
actually.
Who?
You and Joseph.
Are we Gen Zs?
It's not only Gen Zs that they refer to as.
In fact, I think there's a generation after them, yeah?
Those ones, they are bombed.
They are gone.
Is it X or XYZ?
I don't even know.
No, but I know it's something that has to do with Gen X or something. But then that's not the talk, Sha. We are here today to talk about the reason why women are blamed, or are women being blamed when kids hate their fathers. That is the talk. Forget about Gen
Are they being
Z.
blamed or are they responsible?
Are they
for-
responsible? Who are okay? More like whose responsibility is, or how do you put it now?
I feel like it's topic was why are women to be blamed for why children hate
Hate
their
their
fathers, yeah?
So it means that for us to have this conversation, it means that there's a particular group of people who feel a certain way about their fathers, because this it's not just a fluke that we just came up with these topics that okay, why would you even think of something like that? It means that there are people who actually hate their fathers, because I don't understand.
No, definitely, in dealing with your parents, I feel like based on your relationships, there will always be ups and downs, regardless of however it is.
Yeah.
Over time of living with them, it can always bring maybe resentment or some form of ideology or a different perspective. First of all, moving from the different stages of being a child with your parents as well. From a kid, you will see them as all these superheroes. As you're getting to your teens, you're definitely more aware. As you get to your adulthood, you're definitely seeing things in a whole different perspective.
Yeah.
And it brings out like a lot of imperfections and all of that. So it all depends. I feel like this topic is focused on how these stages or how these things actually, as they grow and as they move on, the feelings and the emotions they have and the relationships as well. What are the causes, or are mothers responsible for kids having some form of hatred, resentment, and I feel like a very important thing to also point out is the word they use, the word hate, quote unquote. We don't necessarily mean hate like I hate my dad. No, definitely
No,
not.
but I feel like there are people who are in that spectrum of that, who feel that kind of energy towards their parents.
Hate is a strong
It's
word,
a
man.
strong word,
It's a
man.
very strong
Very
word,
strong
bro.
word.
I don't know. But I just feel like it captures a lot of things concerning children's relationship with their parents as well. So maybe not in the sense of hate, but maybe in a perspective whereby they are not really so happy with their parents. But I just feel like because of how strong that word is, it's able to capture the whole essence of what we're actually talking
And
about
then
today.
now it's not even about whether children hating their parents. It's being particular about children hating their fathers.
Yeah, actually.
So,
I think this is the point where I come in because I've been waiting for you to finish talking. Do you get?
Sorry for holding the mic. You don't have to. You don't have to do
That's
that.
Okay, this topic actually resonates with me, right? Because of my past. It's not trauma.
Okay, go on.
I remember when I was in 100 level, my mom and my dad used to have issues, and I was really supporting my mom. Do you get? Every single time, my mom would always bring cases and say, my dad is this, my dad is that. I didn't even want to care what my dad did. I just hated him. Do you get? So sometimes I would say it's 50-50. Do you get? And again, the environment has another influence on the child's thinking about the dad and everything. My mom was a major influence in me not liking my father at some point. But I think as I grew up, I realized that my dad wasn't the kind of person my mom molded him to be. So oftentimes, it depends on the situation. Situation arises and you're like, okay. So my mom had like a major issue in the whole thing. So it depends, like I said, depends on the situation that comes up. Do you get? I'm a woman, I know, but we also have our...
Women, they normally have scoring now. Scoring.
I'm a woman.
Somebody will say, I'm being
Sexist.
but is it not true?
But you guys oftentimes are the catalyst to our anger and everything. So you guys are the ones that
women naturally have unnecessary strong head. No good out. Let's go.
Rebellion is part of their
We're just
whole
emotional
thing, yeah.
beings. We're just emotional
Most
beings.
people's back up all the time, emotional. Like men have emotions too as well, yeah.
The Bible even says we're the weaker vessels. So you guys should not
It in the Bible that
Let feminists
Yeah.
hear
check
you.
Tell me where they said it.
Check it.
So you know you're
Someone in general.
Check it. Check
It's the
it.
loudest noise, yeah? So obviously.
You make loud noise.
I didn't say that to quote
No, but
unquote.
no,
It's
you
you.
make loud noise. I be no be empty fire. Okay, so now, coming back to the whole thing, I feel like a lot of for I think almost everybody, when I meet people who say they are closer to their dad, I'm like, oh really? I don't know if you met those kind of people before.
I am.
Yeah?
I'm closer to my dad.
You ain't not do grass goes. No.
I am closer to my father.
Since when?
When I realized everything my mom was saying was not just 100% true. I'm closer to my father.
I feel like one thing also that is very important about this, the whole sense of women being caregivers, and it's very easy for kids to attach themselves to their mothers. But one important thing that I've realized with actually interacting with my parents and all of that in my own personal experience is that each parent has his own role, his or her own role, either the mother or the father. In the sense that, a lot of people will say, okay, the mother is the caregiver, she's always the one hanging out with, the kids. But I feel like in a certain sense, that also takes away the responsibility of a father. Yes, we all know that he's a provider. He's meant to do all of that hard guy stuff. But fathers also have a responsibility in how do you raise their kids. Think about situations whereby people have families without their fathers and all of that situation. Look at how the dynamic of that goes. I feel like fathers are the ones that teach you adventure. They're the ones that teach you risk. They're the ones that give you... Well, not in all cases, but I feel like that's where they actually fall in, and those are the things.
I think you're talking from a masculine perspective, as per a guy, let's say a father and a son, because most fathers.
Who would you do rough play with now in your life? Is it your mom? Your mom will say you go wound, though, bros. Stop the do that play.
I feel it's from the house you're coming from. It depends. There are some people that are very comfortable with their fathers. Some people are very comfortable with their mothers. Right now, I'm very comfortable with my mother and my father. I don't know. I'm comfortable with both of them.
That's what I'm trying to say, is that if you have a balance of both. Now, the reason why I'm saying that men have that responsibility is because at the end of the day, mothers are caregivers. With men, imagine the relationship of your dad just making out time. And the reason why I'm saying that it's an excuse for men is that whether you like it or not, in as much as you have that responsibility of being the one to take care, of being to provide and all of that, there are small gestures that the men are meant to actually take up. Let's say, for instance, now playing football with their kids, or let's say paying fees. I know men that have said that, okay, now I'm going to provide the money. I'm not going to carry my leg to that school. But the little effort of you as a man going to school to actually go and see your kid, or going to school to pay that school fees, you know that, at the back of your mind, you have that assurance that I have a dad that no matter what happens, is always going to be there. I hear people, sorry, I have this flex. It's not a flex, kind of, because people might look at me as if I don't know, but I can't remember actually paying. I don't know what it is like to go to a bank to pay fees. Like, actually, I don't know what it feels like to go to a bank. In the sense that, like, they'll give you the money, yeah? Oh. You go to bank to pay. I've never done that in my life. Never gone to pay my own.
Your own school fees?
Yes.
Even in uni?
Yes. I know it's very funny, and it might be for certain.
You're giving Gen Z vibe.
No. It's not Gen Z vibe. For certain circumstances, yeah. For certain circumstances,
wait, so
I've been privileged.
Yes,
now who was my question is: were you paying your fees throughout school? Who was the person responsible for providing it?
Your father now, or your
exactly.
Mother?
So the only thing you were doing was.
Are you saying you didn't use your money or?
No. What I'm trying to say, and that's what I'm saying, that it's not really necessarily a flex.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say is that, but I have that assurance at the back of my mind that my fees. Okay, now you're laughing and saying all of that. I never chopped my school fees for my life. That's something I can say. Now, no matter what, but some people can't say that because they had access to that money and they got to eat that money. Yeah, exactly. So I never go do too short odds. Say I know say. I never do too short odds. Say I know say you go enter. I've never had the chance, and whether you like it or not, yeah, you can say it's giving Gen Z vibe, but it gives a certain sense of responsibility in my head. I know that my school fees is meant for school.
Yes.
Like no matter what, wherever it is, even if that money lands in my account now, I cannot eat that money because I know that there's somebody going to ask me about, hey, what happened to that fees? What happened to this? And what happened to that?
So you never hiked school fees at all?
That is the other story. I don't think I want to go into that, but I'm not snitching myself right now. Yeah? But I feel like it's a sense of responsibility, and it's because I had like a father that was actually there to some sense. You can say Gen Z, but for me, it comes off across to me as my dad was there for me in those circumstances, in those situations. I did not need to care or bother myself with some things. I just needed to be a child. I needed to be a kid, and that was all it was about. At the end of the day, don't say that, bro.
About you enjoy.
Don't say that, bro.
The first time I paid my own fees was when I was in JS3. I think I was in
with your own money or
with my own money.
Bad guy.
I got a job.
Yeah.
I worked, and that time I paid my fees that time, and the feeling was dope because. Would
you say it was because of the father loved him? That was why he was paying the school fees, or because he didn't want him to?
Maybe it's lack of trust to us. It's very possible.
It can be a lot of things because it can be.
I don't want to judge love based on going to the bank to pay school fees.
No, it's just a simple scenario I'm just painting. I'm not saying that entirely.
But
that makes it everything.
For like all of your siblings and everybody.
Yes.
But it's just you.
Yes, everybody. It's not just a single me. I have sisters and all of that.
But you don't chop money before for house.
Everybody don't chop money now. Papa money now. I go chop out now. Definitely.
Basically, where you're driving at now, who would you say your father has?
The point I'm just trying to make is that as much as men are the providers and all of that, there's still a responsibility for men to still be there. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's not digress from what I'm actually trying to say to point it as, okay, that's love, saying that he's paying. No, I'm trying to say that you have a responsibility, regardless of if you're providing, regardless of all of this, to actually be there for your kids in ways that they might need you to be there. Maybe my father knew that I could not handle going to the bank. Do you understand? And he was like, okay, instead of him having to deal with this, let me just deal with this. Go focus on school and pass your books. Now, if I no pass, I know it's I see now. Me na senior man in be now. Me I know it's I see now at the end of the day. So
the question was, would you blame your mother for having you to hate your father?
The problem with that, okay, when we're talking about the topic now, it's deep because like there are various scenarios to all of this also. And when we come to the case of like, let's say divorce or something like that, it's very deep also. Because divorce is like, this was one aspect I wanted to talk about. There are ways that you can blame men for actually being the reason why kids hate their, you are coming from a situation whereby it's your mother. Yeah, but you can have men that are dealing with substance abuse, or substance abuse is not only focused on men entirely, but whether you like it or not, most of the times you find men being the ones actually dealing with substance abuse and all of that.
Okay, wait, can I cut you short?
Yeah.
I'm not going to hide things here because of we're on hair, right, and everything. My father drinks. Do you get?
Okay.
My father drinks. I feel my mother doesn't like my father because of his drinks and everything. But you can't say because of his drinks he's a bad person.
That's not what I'm saying. I've seen fathers that are very loving, like the most emotional type of fathers, body drink. But whether you like it or not, the kids don't really
Father
like
is very
that.
soft.
Yeah, they don't really like that because there's a certain way you want to see. That's why I was saying different stages. There's a stage that you don't even need to know your parents have imperfections, so to say, because it's not your problem as a child to deal with. It's really not. If you're growing up from a family that's whether you like it or your parents fight, that's trauma. Whether you want to accept it or not, it's still trauma one way or another. Each and every one of us are coming from our homes and our parents are not perfect. And that's one important point I want to point out. These people never had blueprints for parenting or anything like that. Do you understand? So there are going to be imperfections. All of us have one form of trauma or the other. It could be bad, it could be passive, it could be soft, but there is still trauma. We're all living from either the good our parents have done or the mistakes that they have done over time. Yeah?
Okay, now, so talking about trauma here, I feel like we also need to understand that as our parents, that they've had their own issues, that they've dealt with all their lives, and to a large extent, they feel like they're giving us the best. And maybe they don't really have a full, because for me, when I became an adult, what I just concluded that was that, okay, my dad or my parents, basically, they are doing their best with the best of knowledge that they have at that time, like more like the best knowledge they had that was available to them. That was what they were doing. Now they may be wrong, but they don't know that they're wrong. So it takes, and having this conversation with them is very, very difficult. Now also, because just like you said the other time, because of the caregiving that women do, and then it's natural for kids to be closer to their mothers. Now when issues come up, because already the children are already closer to the mother. Now let me use myself as an example. Me and my dad, I don't even know how to talk. I don't know how to categorize our relationship, because I won't say I hate my father, because I actually don't hate my father. He just gets on my nerve a lot of times.
So you guys are like flatmates in the house?
Yes, we are flatmates. I feel like sometimes it's really weird, and I feel bad. Sometimes I feel bad for him, because I feel like, okay, sometimes he wants to actually like talk to me or have a conversation, but I'm scared. Why? Because it's more like the moment you bring up the conversation, inside this conversation, fight will start. So in order to avoid that fight, I'll just stay in my room
And play safe.
Yes, and just play safe. And sometimes he's in the sitting. I really want to like go and sit down with him and talk, but you could just go and sit down and start a conversation, and before you know that, you just shoot one.
My question to you is: are you addressing him as your father? You're addressing him as you want to talk to him as one-on-one, like as men, or you want to talk to him as your father?
No, sometimes I feel like he's okay, because now, for instance, when my mom is not around, it's just me and him and my younger brother. So sometimes I feel like he's bored or lonely, and he needs somebody to talk to. But just like Gen Z will say, the energy is not giving.
It's not giving. Gen Z is not giving.
It's not giving because. Oh God. So now there are issues where let's say there's a situation in the house, and my mom is like trying to tell him that, okay, this thing you're doing is actually not the right thing to do. He'll be like, no, you're supporting them. And I'm like, if you look at it, she's really not supporting us. She's just stating the obvious fact and the truth. You understand? But then he doesn't want to listen. And so now because they are taking this narrative of, okay, let's have this conversation as per men assuming that children hate them because of the mothers. Yeah. Now it's now like she's now trying to instigate us to hate him, or when they have different opinions, of course because I feel like in a way again, I feel like my mom is a little bit more exposed than my dad, so she understands us better than he does. So when we get to have some certain conversation, she understands. If you explain something to her, she gets it, because she works with young people and all of that. But on that old man,
this thing that you're saying, but I come from an ideology where I kind of agree with the sense that the family should have one voice regardless. We have situations whereby I could ask my dad for something and he says no, and my mom is not even anywhere close to him, nowhere close to him. And I'll just be like, okay, I'm feeling sleep, I'm feeling sly, I'm feeling like I know what I'm doing. I'll just ring my mom. And bro, it's almost as if he called her after and like, yo, this guy want to ask her this, no grief. But she gives the same response. I feel like that's very important in raising kids. Because let me tell you something, whether you want to admit it or not, kids are very manipulative. They know who is the weaker vessel, they know who is the stronger one, they know who stands firm. If you have a family whereby the both of people have one voice, they might now this thing is that people think that the mom agrees. They might not generally agree most of the time. It's just a decision that they have both taken, a stand that they have both taken about this. Whether it was the father that had the superior voice in that situation for that decision, or it was the mother, regardless, they've already taken that stand. And it's very important in parenting, regardless of how you want to say it. Kids, I have nieces, I have nephews, my their aunts, because I have a lot of sisters, so not their mom directly now, but they're like my sisters now, their aunts, will like instruct them, no, don't do this, and they will obey. Or me, I will come and be like, don't do this. My little one will be like, good, you look at me and be like, yo, what's up? Like, what am I saying? And because you already know that, I won't say that I don't have the authority, but it's not really something that I'm really like into like that. I can be passive sometimes. I'm like that. I won't say I'm the cool uncle, but I'm like that cool uncle that I can just let entities like that understand and all of that kind of thing. And you already know that as kids, they are not fat. I think they should be up to 5. Don't judge me, but around that age, but they're not more than that. But they already have that idea at the back of their mind. They already know at the back of their mind. So I feel like at the end of the day, it's not necessarily being that the mother is what they call it. It all depends on how they agree as parents. I don't agree with the sense or the ideology that parents should have 2 different voices. They can go and squash it off in the night. Trust me, parents have conversations where you see that 1 a.m. They crash, they go. Bro, that is when they are all having conversations, talking about stuff that they've dealt with within the day. I grew up, I know you might not agree, maybe it didn't give me the best idea, but in my head, when I was a kid, I never believed my kids and my parents used to fight. No, they be fighting, bro, but they just don't be fighting in front of us. Do you understand? They be fighting and they be doing their own stuff at the end of the day, but they have their own time to do all of that.
That's why they say, no, they pull out for husband and wife matter. If not,
they use settlement.
I tell you.
So yeah, at the end of the day, that's how I see it. So women, I feel like women definitely do instigate, especially if they are not able to explain properly to their kids what is actually going on. Women have this thing of being emotional and then passing it down to their kids. And you have to be very careful. That is a bad thing, whether you want to admit it or not. It's a very bad thing for a woman to do. Because how would you pitch your child against his father or her father and all of that? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up in any way. Yeah, it's transfer of aggression
from the father man to the kid.
And the thing is,
wait, I want to come in. We are all humans, do you get? And the woman is actually very emotional and everything. So there are some things that I know that the father does that would make the mother very mad. And when she's emotional, she might try to make things up and like make the father look like the devil, the villain in the old thing and everything, the protagonist. Do you get? So oftentimes I won't blame the woman. She's just being emotional. Do you get? You can't. No. I'm just saying, like, you can't totally blame her. She's just being a woman.
I keep on saying this, that men have emotions too, and people keep on saying women emotional, like God just created.
So since you guys don't want to show it, since you guys don't want to show it, since you guys don't want to, but you know, guys gaslight.
No, we agree, but that's not regardless. But a man's role, whether you like it or not, it's actually being strong and being firm, whether you want to admit it or not. Think about it. A soft father will create a soft man, whether you like it or not.
See, let me tell you something. My father will come and my father will be like, your mother, she's making me stay outside. Like, my father can gaslight. I love my father very well, but I know there are situations whereby this man is gaslighting. No, guy, you are gaslighting. Stop it. You get, like, you guys, as we're emotional, you guys too can be manipulative.
Like, you're saying people are emotional. Like,
you guys can be manipulative.
Yes, it's not the most emotional person that would like have all the emotions out there to gaslight. Okay. Nah, I don't feel like men are very strong with that. Trust me, if a woman, you can try and argue with your mother any which way, your dad can just keep quiet and allow you to just pass. But your mother will always win the argument at the end of the day.
Because see, if women don't win argument, Baba, peace no go the house.
Peace no go the house. What's of all your
Because
voice?
you know that this thing they are saying is just rubbish. But then you have to wait and allow them to see that what they are saying is actually rubbish. Because if you try to explain, no matter how you try to explain it, they would fight you. So I feel like you let them to have that express and let the activity happen. When everything falls down to shambles, you're not like, oh, okay. Because I think let me just
But you know this thing I was talking about, focusing a lot about the parents. We have to remember that kids too can be trash. Like I'm not trying to say they can be very shitty. Yeah. They can be terrible. They can be mean. They can be all sorts of things. You can try your best and train your child as much as you want, and he can still turn out as however he chooses at the end of the day, because bad children is not necessarily always a product of bad parents in most of the time.
It could be the environment too.
No, it might not be good environment. Stay in a good environment.
Friends too.
Have good friends regardless, bro. You will still do whatever you choose.
I had bad friends, and I decided what I was going to do. At the end of the day, it's choice. You have to make a decision, and whatever decision you make, you have to stand by it. And because it's not going to be easy, you have to make a conscious effort to stand by all of those decisions, those choices that you've decided to make. It's not like I grew up in the best of neighborhoods.
There's this thing I want to say about trauma here, and the reason why I'm also saying about children is that regardless of how trauma affects you over the years, at a certain point in time, it is your responsibility to deal with it. It is not your parents' responsibility. You cannot blame them for whatever. Like, okay, yes, they have faults in whatever occurred, but it is your responsibility to heal. You can't grow up as a 30-something-year-old man and be saying, oh, my dad did this or my mom did this. Like, bro, that's bullshit, bro. It doesn't make any sense.
There's this interpersonal thought I have with myself. Oftentimes when I see my friends' parents, right, I'm like, why can't mine be like this? I see my friend's father is this kind of ideal father you want? Do you get? So oftentimes I feel it's this comparison I have in my head that makes me feel, okay, my father is not doing enough. Do you get? So like I try to compare my own family to my friends. Do you get? So I feel aside the environment, even your friends, your inner circle too has like an influence in the way you think about your father, whether you should hate him or whether you should love him. Do you get? So I'm like, okay, no, I don't think my father is enough. I don't think is worthy to be called. Now there's one thing they call father and dad. Do you get? Some people say when he's a good man, is a dad. Do you get? When he's providing, is the father. Do you get? So at this point, I would say maybe I have a father, not a dad. Do you get? So I think it's this thing that I have with my friends that, okay, mine is not as good as theirs. Aside your mother, also your friends to have like an influence in the way you think, the perception you have about.
I might not agree with that because I'm not someone that is easily influenced by a lot of. In fact, I'm mostly
as a girl that like has so much friends.
That's your problem.
Really coming from a Gen Z.
No, that doesn't have anything to do. Dad, father, that's all Gen Z statement. But for me, I feel like that's a girl problem because if I'm not, I don't have any issues with whether it's influence or all of that. My friends, I know who I am, I know where I'm coming from, and that's something that you have, and that's why I say it's your responsibility, regardless, to address trauma. You can say, this person is doing better, this person is doing that, but you have to accept who you are, regardless of how you want to look at life. Regardless of it's who you are.
If you don't accept, you're going to the same problem you complained of. You're going to transfer it to your kids, and you're going to
true.
And
the circle keeps
repeating itself. And something I want to say is that as much as you're looking at those dads and seeing that they're perfect, they are very imperfect because there are a lot of things that they do that is very wrong. That your parents might not even be comfortable to tell you. They already have this picture that they've already created for you in your head, and they might be doing it intentionally or unintentionally, regardless. But I don't think I want to sell my dad as a bad person, regardless of whatever his flaws are. Yeah, they are just flaws. We're humans, and that's also another way to understand people. If you understand that you as a person has flaws, yeah, or you have your own flaws, at the end of the day, you have so much to understand when you now start looking at your parents, especially if you've dealt with seeing your parents get old. You actually start seeing how human they are. And that's adulting, that's growing up. You start seeing that, this guy that was seen as my superhero. What like?
Exactly. I think even parents, they also need to understand that, one, they're not superheroes. They're human beings and they make a lot of mistakes. And they should be able to take responsibilities for their mistakes. A lot of parents don't do that. They just feel like, okay, for instance, you may not relate. We coming from the 20 student like us. When your dad does something very, very bad to you, one of the ways he apologizes is he just say, hey, you come, try that shoe. If you fit you, that's sorry.
Yeah, obviously.
Do you understand? But I feel like there's a place where you should be able to tell, you should be able to say, okay, I think I did this and this is wrong and I'm sorry about this. And trash the issue and let it die there.
How easy do you think it's going to be from you coming from a place of someone that people look up to? Coming from a place of you being the person always saving, coming from a place that you know where you choke you, how to provide, all of that. How easy do you think it's going to be for this person that you've always looked out for the best for the person, regardless of whether it was wrong or right? In your own head, in that moment, that was the best. How easy do you think it is for you to actually just come out and say
Parenting
sorry?
is not easy. See, it's not even easy to stay with some of my family friends, some children like that. You know, it's not easy to live with them. You stay with them for 1 hour and your head is aching. So you now have to live with these people for almost the rest of their half their age. Probably when they are like 20s or when they finish from university, you have to stay with them and live with them for so long. And you do this every day. You know, so it's very, very tiring. But then that's the responsibility, that's the job of being parents. And a lot of people don't even understand that being a parent is another job entirely.
But one thing I want to say is people be saying Gen Z and millennials and all of that shit. But one thing that you guys have to understand is at the end of the day, it's a conscious effort for a parent to actually apologize. It's not really that easy.
Parents being passive about their children's needs, and now I'm not talking about needs whether financially or food or all that kind of things. I'm talking about their needs in actually establishing themselves. Charity begins at home, and it's not your duty to be a parent just to train your kids to be your kids. It's your duty to actually train them for the outside world. Yeah, so at home, that is where they get to gain their confidence, their pride, their ego, stand for what they believe in, the values and all of that. If you shut them down at home, you are definitely going to limit their voice outside and how much they speak and how much they express themselves. And I don't feel like as a parent, your duty is to what will I say, quench the fire that they have, but rather is to hone it or to harness it and to make sure that it's from a red flame to a blue flame. That's to the best of their abilities and whoever they set out to be for themselves. So I definitely believe that that's what a parent's duty should be. And if I'm going to parent my child, that should be the ideology behind what I'm looking forward to in raising my kids and all of that.
I think when immediately let's say a couple gives birth, I feel the first thing they should do is understanding the child and understanding the purpose of the child, because a lot of parents don't really understand purpose and what this child is here for. So they just try to force the child into the rat race of life, and they just force everybody to go into the same system and do the same thing. I don't think it's every child that should. First, all children cannot be. You cannot bring them up the same way. You also need to understand the peculiarity of each and every one of them. You know, if you decide to train the first one, you do it the same way you train the second one. The second one may be default. You have a lot of defaulted children because you are trying to like use a general plumb to, you know, to go across all of them, and it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So very importantly, parents must understand the purpose of their children. And parents do this a lot. They will tell you when they want to like bully you spiritually,
emotionally,
and emotionally. They tell you that the Bible says that obey your parents in the Lord. They always use that, but they don't always continue the
passage.
Do you understand? There's also a place where you push your children to the wall.
It says parents don't push your children to anger or something like that.
Yeah. So, but they will never go to that part. But then you need to understand that the Bible says that you should honor parents to obey their children in the Lord. I don't forget.
Obey your parents so that your life, this thing will be long. Mother.
No, not that part.
Which part?
China Chronicles. I've been.
You don't cast us.
I've been pastor picking. Okay, the way he was saying it was children, obey your parents for this is the first commandment with a promise. It was about living long and all of that.
Yeah.
But a lot of parents don't even understand how at what direction this child should. If you ask a lot of parents, I think one time, let me say this here, we had a heated conversation with my father, and I asked him, I said, do you even know my purpose on this earth? Do you even, because you try to force me into a particular box and you want me to behave and act in a certain way, you want me to dress in a certain way. It's more like, I feel it's more like you're not proud of who I'm becoming because you don't understand what I'm even supposed to become in the first place. So you want me to be this suit and tie guy, which I'm not.
Expectations, their own expectations always cloud them.
When they go out and they're talking about their kids with their friends, that one is like, oh, my son is in this place, is like this, like this, and he's now thinking, my pikin, no. He's in a world of his own, But I'm comfortable in my skin, and I feel like I'm doing what I'm called to do by God. It doesn't have to be right by you or by any other person, but this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is what I'm doing.
Let me comment. Okay, so I also want to say this. The word "I am sorry" is not just for the children. Parents should know how to say "I am sorry." People don't say that nowadays. I hardly see parents that say "I am sorry." I mean, you are not always right. Yes, sometimes I know I am right. I am right. Mother, you are not right. Do you get? So the word "I am sorry" should not just be used by the children alone, also by the parents too.
Just emphasize that it's not just actually the term just saying "I am sorry." It's actually properly apologizing.
Let them start with saying
sorry can be very passive, yeah, but actually apologize. Like you can find parents that can actually admit that, okay, this thing that I did was actually messed up, or this thing I did was actually wrong and did not know. And just emphasize on the points that you made here is the fact that every child's experience with their parents differs. It's not in every family that you find the same experience with every child. The firstborn's experience with their parents is totally different. They can have a great relationship, a very good relationship. Going down the line, maybe you just find one that has hitches and all of that, and that's where the whole black sheep comes up. No, I'm proud to be a black sheep or any day, anytime, because the odds are stacked against them, yeah. But regardless, man, it's high risk, high reward. So that's just what I wanted to say.
Well, it's been an amazing conversation. Some of us will be black sheep. Black sheep, we don't clean the black. We don't
me, my complexion, I can't clean it, man. It's there to stay.
So it's been an amazing conversation with Esse and Joseph, and we're going to be back here next week to talk about something else that is going to be fire. Bass more bass.
Called me with my government's name.
A more better bass than this.
Esse, I'm coming back for this rematch, just so you know, yeah.
3-0 down.
Grudges held, bro. God forgives, but I'm not sure I'm doing that.
We're going to take off from the 3-0 down.
No, stop it, guy. I'm a Barcelona fan, remember that.
For the fight, I'm on a tight, some kind Titans, some kind Asian, Greek gods. Poseidon and Zeus.
No. She can be father.
Fire Lord Uzziah. No problem.
Okay. Thank you for watching. I hope that you guys tune in for the next episode. It's gonna be an amazing conversation. I would have given you the topic, but now let me just leave it to next week. So see you guys next week. Subscribe, like, comment, do everything.
Follow,
and share.
All right, now bye. See you next time.
Peace, guys.